Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome. Guys, today I want to caution you against bullshit motivational speakers and bad advice. There's a lot of bad advice out there from like 20-year-olds who want to, portray themselves to be like the paragons of virtue, having not had enough life experience to actually know what they're talking about. Okay, so let me just say for the record, I am 40 years old. I have 10 children, 2 wives. I have worked in many places, actually, and I've traveled, and lived in different places in the world. So let me just say that. Okay, I've owned several businesses. I've been both an employer and employee, okay, for most of my life. And also I've studied widely in various subjects. So I do have both the practical life experience on the ground, and I also have the life experience in terms of my career, my businesses, my experience with marriages and divorces and etc. Life and death and many things. Okay. So, when I give advice, okay, I do it from the perspective of practical, hands-on knowledge and experience. Okay, I'm not sucking it out of my thumb. So, anyone who tells you that you can be whoever you want to be is lying. Okay, you cannot. There are many things in your life that influence who you are today, and there will be many things in your life that influence or that will influence who you are tomorrow. And you are always going to be limited by the facts of your existence. So, for example, if you are born to a peasant family in a shanty town somewhere in the world, okay, who haven't received an education, there's a good chance that you will not become highly educated. Anyway, there's a good chance, okay? There's a chance that you will, but the greater chance is that you won't. That's why when you apply for college applications, when you fill out college applications for bursaries and funding, one of the questions on the application is, what is the highest qualification of your mother and father? What are their qualifications? Why do they ask you that? Because it is known that if you have a parent who has completed their tertiary education, you are more likely to complete your tertiary education. You are less likely to drop out. There are statistics on all these things. Okay? Now, can you be the statistical anomaly? Can you be the exception to the rule? Yes. Is it likely that you will be? No. And so if you are smart, and that's what I'm on about, okay? If you are smart, you will take all these things into consideration and look at where you specifically can excel and be in part what you have been designed to be. What do I mean by that? I'll give you an example for myself. My father was a cleric, an imam. Okay, unsurprisingly, okay, I studied religion, okay, Islam. Unsurprisingly, it was easier for me to access that as a pathway for a field of study because I come from that background, right? So I did that. Okay, that was not all I did, but that was one of the things I did, but it was easier for me to access that being within that social setting and circle of religious clergy, right? Similarly, in the past it was known, like, you get someone called John the Thatcher. What does he do? His job is to make those thatch roofs, and that becomes his label, the Thatcher. and then his son is also a thatcher, and his son's son is a thatcher. Why? Because thatching comes natural and easy to them because they're in a family that does that trade. That's how it used to be in the past. Now they come with this bullshit and say, oh, you can be anything you want to be. It's a big lie, okay? You cannot be anything you want to be because you will not have the opportunity to be anything you want to be for most people, okay? Not only will you not have the opportunity to be anything you want to be, you may not have the necessary abilities to be anything you want to be. And I use myself as an example again. I like to run. I sometimes run marathons, okay? Am I going to win the marathon? I'm not going to win the marathon. It doesn't matter how hard I train, I will never win the marathon. Why? Because I'm short, I have somewhat flat feet, okay? I do not have the build, okay? I am not genetically predisposed to be a good runner. So I have, first of all, the genetic disadvantage to be a front runner in the marathon. Second, I don't want to put in the work, meaning I don't have that. It's not realistic for me to spend that much of time running every day. I can spend 1 or 2 hours a day running, that's it. That's not going to win me the marathon. So even if by way of, very, very hard training, I can do the calculation realistically and know, based on my age and my build and my genetics and my abilities, that I am not going to win the marathon. Okay? Not only am I not going to win the marathon, because I know that what it would possibly take for me even to get near to that goal, it's not worth my time and effort. I don't want it badly enough. Okay? So that's the other thing. Okay? If you want to rely on getting somewhere because something is your passion, then it's worth throwing all you have at it. It's worth giving your whole life to it. Then by all means do it. Whether you make it to the top or not, it's not important because it's your passion. It's because what you live and breathe for. Okay? So you don't have to be, how many fighters, for example, in the fighting world lived and breathed for fighting but didn't become a world champion? That's fine. Their name still goes down in history. We still know who they are. They still have memorable fights we remember till this day, okay? But they didn't necessarily make it to the top. That's okay too. You don't have to, okay? But because the world is competitive, okay, at least you should make it somewhere near the top in any particular field or in any hierarchy, anything that you move in. You need to make it somewhere near the top. You need to get some recognition to be able to sustain yourself in that endeavor. Because finally, at the end of the day, the things we do require funding. Even something you're just passionate about. Even if you're running a charity organization, you need funds to run it. Okay? So you need to be good at it, whatever it is you do, whether you're doing it for money or not. Because you need to attract money, you need to attract funding for whatever it is you do. And in order to do that, you need to be better than other people. So don't buy this bullshit that you can reinvent yourself every day. You cannot. You can do whatever you want. You cannot. Certain things you are predisposed to do, certain things you would be better at than other things. Find out what that is and run with it. And then lastly, time. Consider time, okay? If you want to become a medical doctor, you need to understand that you're going to put 7 years of your life off the table. It's off the book. 7 years are gone, okay? You're going to dedicate 7 years of your life to full-time study to be a good doctor. Are you prepared to do that? And if you are, yes, go for it. But can I become a medical doctor now at 40? Sure, I can, but when am I going to start practicing medicine? At 50? Is that a good plan? Right? So you need to think of things through well, then take the steps towards it and be prepared to make the sacrifices and know what they are. Don't do this wishy-washy bullshit, okay, thing. you can recreate yourself and reinvent yourself every day. You can't. You can do that, but you won't get anywhere. Thank you very much.